When you think about a foundational text, like a constitution or scripture, you probably think the big, powerful words carry all the meaning. But what if I told you the real power, the real nuance, lies in the smallest of words? The ands, the froms, the thens? Today, we're diving into the hidden world of Quranic interpretation, where a single letter can change, well, pretty much everything.
So let's just jump right in with a question that sounds kind of impossible. How can one single letter completely change a religious law that's followed by millions of people every single day? It sounds like a massive exaggeration, right? Well, as you're about to see, it is absolutely 100% true.
Okay, so take a look at this verse. It's from the Quran, and it's describing ablution. That's the ritual washing you do before prayer. The instruction seems simple enough, and wipe your heads. But you see that tiny little character right before the word heads? That's the Arabic particle by. And believe it or not, that single letter has sparked a massive legal debate that's been going on for centuries.
And this is what's at stake. How you interpret that tiny bit leads to two completely different rules. Does it mean you only need to wipe part of your head, or is it just there for emphasis, meaning you have to wipe your entire head? Entire schools of Islamic law are divided on this very question, all because of one particle.
Now, this isn't just some weird one-off curiosity. This one example actually opens the door to a whole field of study that's absolutely critical for any Quranic interpreter. You could almost call it their secret tool, having a deep, deep understanding of what are known as the adawat.
So what are adawat? Well, they're the particles of the Arabic language. We're talking prepositions, conjunctions, all those little connector words. On their own, they don't mean much, but you put them in a sentence and they become the engine of precision. They're like the wiring that connects everything and gives the entire structure its exact meaning. And this is not some modern obsession with grammar either. This page you're seeing is from a legendary 15th century text on Quranic sciences called Al-Itqan. The author, the famous scholar Al-Suyuti, dedicated an entire chapter of his masterpiece just to these particles. His point was simple. If you don't master these tiny words, you can't truly understand the text.
And the scholars did not mince words about this. The consensus was crystal clear. A huge number of mistakes in interpretation, what's called tafsir, came from one root cause: not understanding the particles. The stakes really couldn't be higher.
To give you a real sense of how complex this can get, let's zoom in on just one super common particle, the word min. Now you might think it's simple, but get this. Classical grammarians identified more than 15 different meanings for this one little word.
Now, we're not going to go through all 15, don't worry, but let's just look at 3 very different ways min is used in the Quran: to show a starting point, to mean a part of a larger group, and to provide an explanation.
First up, the most common and straightforward meaning. This verse describes the prophet's famous night journey, and here, min clearly means from. The journey started from the sacred mosque. It's a physical starting point. Simple enough, right?
Okay, but now look at this verse. The phrase here, min al-mu'minin, doesn't mean from the believers, like a location. It's what grammarians call partitive. It means among the believers, or some of the believers are men who were true to their word. It's a totally different function. Same word, different job.
And for a third, even more subtle meaning, check this out. The verse says to avoid al-rijsa min al-awthan. Now, you could easily read that as impurity from the idols. But here, min is actually working as an explanation. It means avoid the impurity, namely the idols. The particle isn't just connecting two words, it's defining the first one.
And it's not just prepositions like min. This incredible level of precision is everywhere, especially when you look at conjunctions, your ands and buts, and particles of negation. Think about the word and. In English, it's just and. But in Arabic, there are different words for it, each with its own built-in clock. Wa is just a simple link, but fa implies that something happened immediately after. This, and then right away, that. And thumma implies a delay. This happened, and then sometime later, that happened. The choice of and totally changes the pace of the story. It's the same with negation. Lam and lawn might look a little similar, but they operate in completely different time zones. Lam negates the past. He did not beget. It's a fact about what didn't happen. But lawn is a powerful, emphatic negation of the future. You will never attain righteousness. One looks backward, the other looks forward, forever.
So, we've seen a single letter change a law, and tiny words that have their own built-in timers. Which brings us to the big question. Why does all this microscopic detail matter so much?
Well, it matters because it is the absolute bedrock of any accurate interpretation.
The great scholar al-Zarkashi put it perfectly. He said this isn't just about knowing vocabulary. It's about understanding the very logic and structure of the speech. The particles are like the invisible scaffolding that holds the whole building together. You take them for granted and the entire thing can collapse.
And if that wasn't serious enough, the famous scholar Ibn Taymiyyah raises the stakes even higher. He argued that many major theological errors, and even historical divisions between groups, happened because people misunderstood these tiny words. Getting them wrong isn't just an academic slip-up, it can have profound historical consequences.
So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. For anyone who wants to seriously engage with the Quran, mastering these particles is non-negotiable. They are the keys that unlock everything: the grammar, the legal rulings, the rhetorical beauty, and the stunning, breathtaking precision of the language.
Which leaves us all with one final thought. If a single letter can carry so much weight, and a simple conjunction can shape an entire law, what other worlds of depth, what other layers of precision are we inevitably missing when we read a text in translation?